This is how I've managed to increase my testosterone at age 37, going from this to actually feeling and looking pretty strong, much more confident and just more driven. I've got a few notes on my phone just to help me educate you guys properly, because there's a few supplements and things I take and I can't remember exactly what they do off the top of my head. I can give you some bro science about it, proper bro science style, but I think I'll try and at least give you some kind of education by using ChatGPT as we go through this. And it's also got the notes in the way I want to do it. A little side note though, often when I think about making these videos, I think about trying to make the most polished video possible. But I think sometimes when I over-engineer them, they're not authentic to me. So I'm just going to stop giving a shit and just post the videos from the top of my dome and with some notes on my phone. Like, there's so many times I try and make a video, I'm like, right, you need to have like auto prompt, you need to remember the lines, and then I'm trying to remember all this shit and it's just whatever. But anyway, I digress. The thing is, like, most men, they don't have low testosterone. They have low standards, and that's where the low T comes from, the low T. So for me, back yonder 5-6 years ago, the daily drinking, the eating shit, the not training so much, those are my standards. They were very low, and that resulted in me just having very low testosterone. I was always kind of strong, but I felt very anxious all the time. I had a lot of panic attacks, and a lot of this was tied in with the drinking. And the drinking alcohol as well also raises your estrogen as well. So I was just a bit of a sad, puffy sack. So the first thing I did was knock the drinking on the head. I've mentioned in other videos I had a bit of a drinking problem. That's a very all or nothing thing for me. And even I think just drinking once a week, 2 or 3 times a week, I think it all has a knock-on effect to your drive, your estrogen, your T levels, like everything. I think it has a knock-on effect. Now I've gone completely the other side, so I don't believe in drinking at all anymore because I've completed it. So this comes from that place, but I can see it for what it is. It keeps men numb and dull, and it ticks all those boxes in your head because it feels rewarding. So the first thing I would do is, if you drink, just stop. Easier said than done sometimes, easier said than done. But fixing my lifestyle is what increased my testosterone levels. That's the thing. And quitting alcohol, that has a huge impact on your hormones, your sleep, your recovery. It also lowers your cortisol, and that byproduct increases your testosterone. That is the thing with the drinking. It's insidious. It catches up with you. You think it's harmless, but a pint of beer is what, like 300 calories? It's like 4 slices of white bread, I think. Yeah, it's an interesting thing, the old booze. The second thing is resistance training, weight training. That's going to increase your T levels. The strongest natural stimulant for your testosterone is weight training. More muscles, more testosterone, just lifting weights is going to make you feel better, you're going to be stronger, you're going to look better, you're going to be more confident, and you're going to have fucking sick guns. Like, who doesn't want to rock a decent pair of biceps or triceps or quads? Just any of it, you know? Pick your muscle. Pick the one you like the most, and yeah, go to town with it. Everyone's got their strongest feature, certain muscles on different people. So yeah, hit the gym. That's going to increase your testosterone massively. And for me, running, it didn't increase testosterone directly from running. It does grow your muscles a bit, but it improves your insulin sensitivity, which is going to help your body comp, the way you look as well. Running has helped me in so many ways. Mentally, like, it's just the best way for me to unwind. If I'm frustrated, I'm angry, I'm sad, any of these things, I go for a run. I feel fucking fantastic afterwards. I feel great. All of my worries are they're gone. They're out. And I like to run with no headphones, nothing, just me and my thoughts. For some people, that's quite dangerous, but I think sometimes just having that meditative alone time with your thoughts is just helpful. It's just good to be you versus you, just on the road, a bit in nature, just doing your thing. That is something I find fantastic now, even though I've got a fucked knee, like a partially torn ligament from when I used to do gymnastics, but that's it. And it's helped me slim down massively. Like the running, it just burns so many calories that I don't calorie track. I just try and eat a fairly high protein diet most of the time. And everything else kind of fits in place. And the thing is, the byproduct of running is having less fat. More fat equals more estrogen conversion. Getting leaner is a higher T level. So that's the byproduct from running. And just eating a high protein diet in general. If you can try and just eat natural foods, like if it's just a one ingredient food, that's the best way to do it. So I'd say 80% of the time I'm eating pretty healthy, pretty lean, pretty good. Most of my meals might be just very fucking gym bro, you know? The morning I'll have 80 grams of oats, 100 grams of raspberries, one scoop of protein. That's a good amount of protein and sort of complex carbohydrates right there from the off. I try and fast in the morning as well. So my last meal is normally latest max 7, and then my first meal is probably 9, half 9. So there's a good amount of fasting in the morning. The second meal, I'm a bit of a slut now for chicken mince and pork mince. They're very cheap and they're very lean and they're very high in protein. Like 100 grams of chicken mince is like 120 calories with like 20 grams of protein. What I like to do now is just get it, mix it all up, put some spices in there, and cook it like a big kind of like a kebab, or what American people call it, like a meatloaf minus all the carbs, like no bread or anything in it. And I just bake the whole thing, and then I know I'm gonna have like 200 grams of the portion. Now let's cut it up roughly into appropriate portions. But if I do a pack of 4, what am I gonna get? 200, 400, 600, 800. Yeah, that's 5 portions out of a kilo of meat. So, you know, you don't need to track your calories that way because you can eat that whole thing during the week, and that's fine. And then I just use microwave rice and maybe even some microwave vegetables, or just tinned. Like, I really don't overcomplicate it anymore. A lot of the people when I'm working just look at me and they're like, "What the fuck are you eating?" But when I'm working, I genuinely don't give a shit. I eat it so quickly; it's just going down the hole. It's decent macros. It's protein. It's something just to fill the void, really. And dinner might be even the same. It might be exactly the same. It might be just rice, vegetables, chicken mince. Sometimes it will be tuna, like 2 cans of tuna. Sometimes it might be some beef mince. Sometimes it might be a steak. But the carbohydrates are generally rice. Might be sweet potatoes. Might be whole grain pasta. Sometimes noodles. But I really don't overcomplicate it. And I know roughly most days I'm hitting 200 grams of protein, and that's kind of the goal, with maybe about 200 grams of carbs and maybe 60, 70 grams of fat. But because I've got such a high output, sort of 2 weight sessions a week, 2 to 3 runs, plus I don't do less than 15k steps a day with my dog walks, with everything else, with the chefing, with all of my stuff. The output is what keeps the calories low, which keeps me fairly trim. I'm not the leanest in the world, but I'm happy with where I'm at and how I look, and I think that all kind of works part and parcel with these things. Sleep is something I've always been shit at, but the better your sleep, the better your recovery, the better your testosterone is. Most men who are sleep deprived have very low T, but you kind of see it all together, don't you? There'll be people that drink, stay up late, eat shit, watch Netflix. They'll have a little beer belly, some man boobies, and very low T, very low drive. They'll just be just not very driven, I think. And I think that's where the testosterone comes from. Since I've stopped drinking and built up this lifestyle, these habits, I'm much more driven now. There's so many things I want to accomplish. I feel like I'm making up for lost time because of the drinking, because of all that time. So for me, I used to get about 5 hours, maybe 5.5. Now it's more like 6 to 7 hours, and I feel better. I tend to go to bed at 10:30, and I try and get up at like 5:30, 6. Once again, I don't overcomplicate it too much. I'm not massively strict on all of it. Some days I sleep a bit better, some days I sleep a bit less. I'm not very good at sleeping generally. Supplements that have supported me. Now this is, I think without those lifestyle bits previous, I don't think there's much point hopping on these things, to be honest. And they're all natural anyway. But I think I've always been a slut for supplements. I love trying to fix myself with supplements, magic potions, or I don't know, diet or something. Ever since I was young, I had like quite bad acne, and I try and fix it by drinking apple cider vinegar shots or putting apple cider vinegar on my face or trying fucking different diets. Like, I don't know, it's just how I'm wired. Rather than going to the doctor for anything, I'm like, can I fix it myself? So yeah, in itself is probably its own issue. Ashwagandha for me, KSM 666. And I think specifically this one here from Limp seems to work the best for me. It helps me not worry so much about things. I think it makes me just a bit less stressed. What ashwagandha can do is just lower your cortisol naturally, and increase your testosterone levels. But you need to stay on it for the T levels to maintain a certain level. I'm not going to say it's a huge T booster, but it definitely helps. And what I've also found is it helps with your endurance. Like, it's helped my running massively. And I think on here it does say something about endurance. I take that twice a day. I think it's a 300 milligram extract. I take one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and that seems to work for me. This L-carnitine, I take 1.5 grams of that, so that's 15,000 mg. It helps with energy performance. I think it helps with like distributing your fat. I think it can have a minor impact on like fat loss. So that's energy performance, not a direct T booster itself. This one here, TMG, sort of methylation and general support. I'm literally reading this off ChatGPT now. I think this can indirectly increase your testosterone levels. This one here, this is Sustanch. I tend to run this for maybe 60 days, take about a month off and then do it again. This one has just given me the most morning wood I've probably ever had. So boosts testosterone, increases the libido, improves blood flow. That's something natural. I think this one's about 35 quid, but yeah, big fan of this, big fan of this. And then occasionally I'll just take this. I don't do it like religiously, but this is cheap as chips if you're in the UK, and it's just loads of natural ingredients. So it's D-aspartic acid, maca, Korean, ginseng, zinc, tribulus tertius, and fenugreek. I think as a combination can just increase your T levels. None of it's massively proven. There's mixed evidence on all of these things, but it definitely helps. And I think I notice when you're just getting a lot more morning wood, when your T levels are higher. At 37, like, I'm not saying my T levels are declining, but as you get older, your T levels do decline. And in the last year, this is the most morning wood I've ever had. So yeah, apologies for the TMI. But yeah, zinc is useful if you're deficient in it. That can help raise your T levels. Maca, ginseng, tribulus, fenugreek, they all help with libido, energy, and all those kind of things. They're not massively strong testosterone drivers, but I think all these little percentile gains, if your lifestyle is in order, can just help. And the other thing, I think the last thing that really helps men with their testosterone, and I think all of the previous things are a byproduct as well, is building something. I think we as men are builders. You need to have a creative outlet. I think just having something to do, starting some kind of business, or just going to the gym, something where you can build. It doesn't really matter what it is. Just having a project you're working on, your own personal project, outside of work, outside of your family life, whatever, it needs to be something. So I've always started loads of little businesses, side hustles, different gym plans, even creating content like this or things on TikTok. Like just having something, direction, purpose, competition, as well as having maybe little communities. Like I've got a little running group with my friends and it's a competition. Like we're trying to get more medals than each other. We're trying to run a bit further. We're trying to run a bit faster, and that competition's good. That's the thing. You want to be able to create more than you consume. Less passive consumption, more creation. Instead of just scrolling, and I'm a sucker for it as well, sitting down watching Netflix, try and put something out into the universe, whether it's journaling, whether it's reading, just instead of just mindlessly consuming the drivel, try and do something. Men with purpose behave differently and their biology follows. I think a lot of us now are just drones. We're just drones. And all of these things, when I It sounds like I'm judging people. I'm not, with like man boobs and things. I've been there with all of these things. I'm talking to my younger self. Like, I've been a mindless drone of just watching fucking Netflix, drinking, scrolling on my phone, wanking, just rinse, repeat, go to work, no direction, no nothing, just, oh, this is life, just, yeah. But now having a direction, having purpose, having things you're working on just gives you that kind of bit of fire in your belly. And this is just a video to show people where I've come from and how I've got there, and maybe it might help you. It's a bit of a long-winded video. It's not very polished. I'm reading things off ChatGPT, but I figure I want to get something out. I haven't had the time this week to spend ages polishing something. I just want to help one or two people. If they watch this and they go, actually, this dude makes a bit of sense, I might take a few of these habits. That's all I want, just a bit of impact. So that's more or less it. ChatGPT has given me a closing sentence here. If you're drinking, sleeping 5 hours, not training, and overweight, no supplement's going to fix you. There's no magic pill. It's just starting the thing. Now, this is my own mind. It's just starting the thing, whatever you want to start, whether it's weightlifting, whether it's something, it's starting it and just being consistent with it. Consistency is the key driver with all these things. That's pretty much it. That is the video. These are the things I've done to increase my testosterone, grow my biceps, and feel like a man with purpose. See you in the next one.